Welcome to Gen Sisters. I'm Chantal, the younger sister.
And I'm Keisha, the older sister. Hey, sis.
Hey sis, how has your week been? I feel like it's been like a year, but also a week at the same time.
Yeah, that's how life tends to work, especially the older you get.
Okay, what is not someone's 85-year-old grandmother? Yeah, someone's rocking on their porch. Yeah, child, that's how it goes in life sometimes. That's just how it be. You're too young for that.
Just prepare for it to get worse.
Oh, oh gosh. But yeah, I mean, speaking of old and rocking chairs. I feel like I am aging day by day because of how goddamn hot it is in LA. Like it is so hot. I know that New York just had a heat dome, so condolences. However, let's get back to me. Um, LA is hot. Okay, I want to be out here. I've lost a few pounds, my waist on slim a little bit. I want to show the girlies and the boys a little bit of something, and I can't because it's so damn hot. It's giving cremation outside, okay? It's giving last days. I've had
Not
absolutely
cremation.
enough. What is the temperature giving in the East Coast?
She said cremation.
It is. It is.
Uh, it's fucking hot. Uh, I hate it. I don't like leaving the house. I don't enjoy sweating if I'm not doing anything that should cause me to sweat, like exercising. But I have a dog, and the dog is like, but I want to go outside. I have to go potty. You gotta take me. I want to go smell things. I want to
How
pee on things.
how dare they? How dare you ask to be walked and exercised? Like the
I
audacity.
know. But I signed up for it, so. But I
I mean,
basically just complained my way through all the seasons in New York, except for like 4 weeks out of the year where I actually like the weather. So it's nothing new for me.
I hear that. I am complaining, but at the same time, there's a lot of things to do inside. Like there's pool parties inside. You can't go outside. There's all workarounds to it. You go in the shade. I can't tell you how many shade trees I've been under this summer because of the sun, but you know what? It's a vibe. So I am making the most of it because can you believe we're already seeing back to school advertisements? I was like, I rebuke this. I don't even have kids and I rebuke this. So let the summer continue. I don't want to hear about any of that. Let me be outside.
Where are you seeing back to school ads?
I saw it on Amazon. I was on Amazon doing what I do, and it was like back to school supplies. And I was like, it wasn't even the 4th of July yet.
Uh,
I was like, can I get some hot dog buns before I get a number two pencil? Like, the 4th wasn't even here yet.
yeah, I guess it is going to be that time soon. Before we jump into the business at hand, tell me why I turn on my TV and it recommends to me a YouTube video called Loneliness. What in the hell? What is it about what I have been doing and watching that makes YouTube think I need to watch a video on loneliness with a sad ass, like crying person as the screen cap?
Not YouTube throwing shots at you. They said, listen, we got
I
something for that.
really was just like, what? Wow, rude.
Did you watch it though? That's the question.
No, I didn't watch it because first of all, it was a 45-minute long video. What? Not that there's anything wrong with being lonely. I've been there, but this is not the time of my life where I'm feeling that way. So I
I
just
feel like
felt
we've
a
all
little,
felt that way from time to time, but to have that in your face, especially when you're not going through it, it's like algorithm, you have the wrong person. FBI agent who watches me, wrong person. So please keep it moving.
yeah, I think that FBI agents call my phone, but
Yeah,
anyway, why don't we get into the stuff?
let's do it.
Let's podcast. So coming up next, today I learned. So I'm up first this week. I was reading an article in The Guardian called I don't remember what it was called, but it was basically like Gen Z is discovering the library. And I was like, what? So of course I had to read more. Are you familiar with the concept of a third place?
In what context?
Just a third place.
Like third place in softball was, I don't know any
No, not
context.
it's not like competition. If I said like society is losing third places,
Sure.
okay, it's not a test. Like you, you don't have to have heard of it. It's actually better if you hadn't, because
No, I
today
have
I
no.
learned.
Okay.
Uh, so I feel kind of late on this, but I know I'm not, especially since you don't know what I'm talking about. So I can tell you the official definition. A third place is anywhere you aren't living or working or studying. The only requirement is that no one forces you to show up to the third place.
Hmm.
The benefits of a third place are they provide us space to show up at our worst. It's free from expectation, provides connection in times of loneliness. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I got the loneliness video rec, because I looked this up. Knowing there is somewhere else you can go besides work or school or home can give you a cushion for when you don't want to go to these places. So you kind of get the gist.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I completely can correlate or relate rather to the library being that because that's was a refuge for me when I was younger. And so I love that they're talking about this because the library is such a central focal point for a lot of people, whether they're in a house, whether they want to escape from a traumatic household. For me, it was where my creativity was able to fly. Like that was where I would read 50,000 Junie B. Jones books and the B stood for that bitch. Like we all knew that. And that was when Captain Underpants was a thing, Goosebumps. Like it was truly like you had stepped into a mystical world as a kid for me personally being in the library. And so I love that definition of third place. And I'm trying to think of what that third place is for me now in adulthood. And I can't think of it.
Well, so that's the thing. Apparently, it's becoming less of a thing because of the pandemic, like stuff was shutting down. And then we just got used to social distancing and not spending time with other people. So, and then there's things like, so coffee shop is a common third place. But then you have coffee shops where they're like, if you don't buy something, we need you to leave within 30 minutes. Like, you're not encouraged to like spend time there and hang out. But you mentioned like the library being your place of refuge. This article talks about Gen Z is not going to the library because it's just like peaceful and stuff. Let me read you a quote from this 20-year-old student, an art student. I'm not going to name him because I don't know him like that and I don't want to put him on blast. But he says, when he's not studying at the New York Public Library, he cruises the reading room for friends or more than friends. Last week, he respectfully slipped his number to a young woman sitting near him, which led to a flirty text exchange. A few days ago, he made a friend on the library steps, a law student prepping for an exam. So it's like finding friend spot, reading, taking pictures, because there's also some like really like ornate libraries that they're taking pictures of and putting on TikTok. I'm surprised you haven't seen these. And a place to post thirst traps and pick people up that you might be able to date.
Not
Third
him
place.
swooping in and picking somebody up next to the Moby Dick novels. Like, what? I'm done. Are you
Why has it got to be
serious?
Moby Dick?
I mean, hey, Toni Morrison, whomever, okay?
I
I
got a dirty mind.
I know. Mhm. But anyway, to be picked up at a library, I'm just trying to think how I respond to that. I'm like, sir, do you have better priorities? Because obviously not. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. What's your TIL?
Well, my TIL is something that would seem pretty obvious, but it wasn't obvious to me. Today I learned that the brain cleans itself while you're sleeping. Every single
Mm.
night when you go to bed or when you're sleeping in general in a deep REM sleep, your brain is washing itself. It's cleaning itself of toxins, of just nasty bacteria. It's cleansing itself. So that's why when you don't get proper sleep, you have those insomnia symptoms, brain fog, fatigue, just feeling hazy. I was like, I did not know that the brain is cleaning itself every single night. I was shook. It's giving, I'm thinking, me and my dramatic ass. I'm thinking my brain is on the conveyor belt, working through the car wash. Yeah. Hey, yes, yes, yes. I'm thinking my brain is just getting a deep tissue massage. That's what I would like to
Work
think.
and work.
Work, all right, dun, 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 work and work. And so that's what I imagine
I
at night
want
is
my
what's
fingers to the
happening.
bone.
Yes, that is exactly what I think is happening at nighttime. So I was very delighted to find out that your brain cleans itself. I'm just like a fun fact type girly. I just love, I'm like, what? It's like right there in front of you, but also this whole time I didn't know that your brain does that. So that's what I learned, and I have been fascinated by it ever since. And now that when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, you did that, brain. Okay, you did that. So that's what I learned.
Do you think if our brain had feet that it would wash its feet?
I know mine would. I don't know about other people, but mine will and wash his legs too. Okay,
And wash the legs.
and the legs. And not forget about the legs. Okay, I want to talk about what is going on in pop culture. I mean, unless you have other things better to do.
No, let's do Pop and Jen.
So I wanted to talk about Miss Violet Affleck. I wanted to speak about her because if for those of you who do not know, she is the daughter of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, and she's just recently went in front of officials in Los Angeles to help with the band masks that are prominent in many establishments. She is someone who suffered, if I'm not mistaken, autoimmune disorder, so she has to wear a mask. And so I, first of all, before I get into like the depth of that, I just have to say, I've never seen someone look so much like both of their parents at the same time than Violet Affleck. She looks exactly like her mother and her father just stamped their faces at the same time. And it's actually eerie. I thought that Reese Witherspoon's daughter held that title, but no, Miss Violet Affleck has taken the cake. I just want to give her flowers. For her to be 18 years old, it just shows how just self-aware she is, as well as just how surrounded with just advocacy she is by her parents, and to have that type of autonomy to do that at 18 years old. I just commend her. And that is what I have just been fascinated with. I just love seeing and I know I'm gonna sound like somebody's auntie. I love seeing our young generation, especially Gen Z, just saying like, hey, I'm gonna take the reins, even though I shouldn't have to inherit this load of shit. I'm going to take the reins and I'm going to reroute this and make this shit work the best way I can and make this future somewhat tolerable for my generation and beyond. So I just love to see these young, just brilliant minds going to bat for their community and their generation. And I just want to give Violet Affleck her flowers because she's out here doing the damn thing at only 18.
So, what exactly is she advocating for? Because I saw like it was all over social media, but I couldn't even deal. I mean, for one thing, I didn't have time to click on the article, which, would help me get details, but the comments just were like, I couldn't deal with the people on the, oh, mask. Oh, you're such a snowflake. You gotta wear a mask. Masks don't even work. Like, I can't even deal with that. Like, are you? Oh my God. Okay. Let's not even get into that. But what was
Yeah.
she advocating for?
So she contracted a post-viral condition in 2019, where is in potential if she were to catch COVID, she would be in for like the long haul COVID, long COVID, and so she wears a mask everywhere she goes, when it's in the public eye, rather. And so she spoke up at the LA County Board of Supervisors meeting, explaining how harmful a potential ban would be. So they want to propose
Mm.
banning masks in the city of Los Angeles, for what reason? Who knows? Why do people do any of these, stupid laws and rules and things of that nature? Why? What harm is it doing for people to wear masks to protect themselves? I know for me, I'm never not wearing a mask on a plane ever again. The amount of germs that go just you're in this tiny tin can, if you will, and all those germs, I'm always going to wear a mask. And so to tell me that I couldn't wear a mask because I want to protect myself, it's absurd. And so she talks about how there's lasting neurological and cardiovascular, symptoms to long COVID and the long haul illnesses. And so she's just advocating of how, there's so many people like her who need to wear a mask, and to ban that is taking away their autonomy. And it's not right. Like,
I
of all
got
the
it.
things that they can
Okay.
focus on,
Yeah.
homelessness, cost of living, the list goes on. This is what they choose to focus on, masks. And so
Yeah, they want to do the same
yeah.
thing in New York. They want to ban mask in public areas because of fear of people hiding their identity who are committing crimes or even during protest. Uh, yeah, this is not a political podcast, but I very much disagree with that as someone who is a nerd who wears my mask on the subway because I just enjoy not getting sick, period. I don't care what kind of sickness it is. I don't want it. It's not a good use of my time getting sick.
Listen, that part, okay? That part. It's like I don't even want it to be a sore throat, a cold, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be COVID. It's just I don't want illness in my body, period.
You know how I am because you come visit me, and the minute you start, I'm like, I'm sorry, are you okay?
Literally, y'all.
Do
Last time I
you?
visited her, I had one cough. She goes, "What's going on here?" And every single time I did that, I cough. I
But
mean, to be fair, I ended up having a virus. What was it? A cold? I had a cold. I had a cold, then I ended up passing it to her. So
Mhm.
to be fair, to give her sickness, but hey,
And then I have to deal with it laying on the couch by myself. I don't feel good. Anyway, good for
anyway,
Violet Affleck. I applaud her for standing up for what she believes in and ignoring the naysayers, and I hope she's successful.
I hope she is too. And she got a cool ass mama, like Jennifer Gardner. I feel like they have a bunch of like girl spa days and parties. Like I feel like that she's be a dope mom. So she won the mom
Yeah.
lottery. Yeah, you don't like Jennifer Gardner? What's
No,
wrong
I
with
said
you?
yeah. No, I like
Oh,
her.
I will say, I will listen.
Sorry,
Go
let me
toe to
be more
I'll go toe to toe
enthusiastic.
for Miss Garner.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Jennifer
Thank you. Give it
Garner.
to
All
her. Okay.
right.
Because there are very few
Yeah.
white women that I will go to bat for, period. And she's one of them. She
Oh
is,
Lord.
and my white woman route, okay, that I would go to bat for. She's one of them.
There go our two white listeners.
Yep.
Um, anything else that you have for Pop and Jen?
No, I'm that's my, pop for the week, and my Jen. What's yours? Because I gotta know what you are tapped into.
So, I've been obsessively listening to this one podcast for God knows how many months now. But they have a long back catalog, so I'm able to like just listen to episode after episode. Anyway, it is a true crime podcast. And okay, let me set the stage. I was taking a shower and the I have a shower speaker
What in
that
the
used to
audiobook? Sorry.
Anyway, so I was taking a shower and I was using the shower speaker that you so wonderfully bought me for Christmas. And all of a sudden, it goes from the podcast I'm listening to, and I'm like, what is happening? It did like it's like I started listening to something else. I thought like, did wires get crossed or something? Like I don't understand. And then I hear blah 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 coming out soon. And I'm like, what the? It's a fucking movie trailer.
Wow.
And like I said, I'm listening to a true crime podcast. Each episode, they talk about stories of usually someone's getting murdered, and it's usually a woman. So
So you
imagine
were
being in the
like,
shower.
oh, hell no.
Yes, I'm thinking like, is there a man in my house? Like, what is happening?
That's
And the dog,
terrifying.
oh my God.
What did Ollie do?
He's looking at me like, what's happening? Like, do
And
I
for
need
those
to
of you
bark?
who don't know, Ollie is her adorable dog.
He is adorable.
But so he
So it
was just
happened
like,
again.
what's up? There's nothing to be
He was
concerned about.
like, what's up? Like, I don't know. Doing that head tilt thing they do when they're
Then
like,
Michael
I'm
Jackson,
confused.
yeah.
It happened again. I So, like I said, I listen to this podcast like all the time. So I'm going to sleep. It's on, and all of a sudden I hear, I like literally just about to drift off into slumberland, and I freak out because I'm like, what? And then I remember it's this fucking trailer. So it is for a movie called Long Legs, which I will never fucking see because I don't appreciate being having the shit scared out of me. Oh, I'm
So
not like
it's
huge
safe to
into
say
horror, so
the targeting got you. That
I mean, it they got the wrong person because it's not for me. Like I'm not ever going to see this movie. I'm not a horror film person in the first place.
and you experienced it in like the most scariest places that a
Exactly.
woman in between the shower and your room, your bed, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I really kind of want to write to these people who came up with this. And
Yeah, the marketing team, it was giving somebody was on acid because
I
what a
mean,
wow.
I'm almost like impressed because it is kind of genius. But I'm also just like, I don't appreciate being assaulted by this ad.
This I mean,
Anyway,
I think that it's an effective campaign. I know that they have like a phone number. Excuse me. I know they have a phone number that you can call, and it's like this creepy, creepy voice. Might be the one that you're just talking about. But I'm like, I'm never seeing this film, but I know that this is reaching me, and I'm like, okay, we get it.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You said no, not today or tomorrow.
Or next year, not even on streaming. So I have a game for us to play for
Oh,
the Gen
fun.
part of Pop and Gen. And it is called Have You Seen?
Okay, let's
Uh,
do it.
so for our listeners, -2 because you have alienated the white people, um, the object of this game is to each of us have come up with a list of movies and or TV shows that have a special place in our heart from childhood, or we just think they're classics, and we're going to quiz each other to see if we have seen this film or TV show. And if not, the person's supposed to guess what it's about. So I'm going to go first. And my first movie is called Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Have you seen this?
Um, I don't remember or recall this film, so I'm gonna say no.
What if I tell you it came out in the early 90s?
Then I would tell you I was an infant.
Based on the title, what would you guess the movie is about?
Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. I would say that the kids were up to some rambunctious activities after their mom like had like a business trip or something, and so the babysitter came, and then the child accidentally killed the babysitter, thinking they killed the babysitter, but the babysitter was in the attic. So
You're
that's what I
actually,
think it is about. Have bits and pieces and like it's some girl in like a brown short hair. I don't know. And I just remember her wearing like a striped 80s looking shirt.
oh, you, so maybe you haven't seen it, but you may have seen like clips of it because you're
Yeah, I think
actually
so.
not that far off.
Okay. And
Uh,
this is me, y'all. I didn't know she was gonna talk about this, so I didn't do any research. This is just based off
that's
what my brain is popping up
really
when I
impressive.
thank you.
So you're mostly right. The mom, like when you said the mom went on a business trip, I was like, she did.
Oh, did you? Because they always go on a business trip. They always go on a business trip. It's always a bit. It's like I'll be back. Watch. There's pizza in the oven. Like they always do that.
So this movie came out, I believe, in like the early 90s. It stars Christina Applegate when she was like really hot from Married with Children. And she's like a 17-year-old high school student and she has four younger siblings. And the babysitter that the mom hires is like this old lady, like super old lady. No offense to super old ladies. But it is what it is. And she just like keels over within like 2 days of babysitting them. And they're like, oh, snap, what are we going to do? And the kids decide, well, we don't need to tell mom because mom's just going to come home and then she's going to ruin all of our fun because they just want to go wild. So hijinks ensue. It is hilarious, and it has one of my favorite lines that I say to this day. One of the kids is like a 15-year-old, and he's like a stoner guy, like super
Hmm.
rock and roll, like long hair. And he and his friends are like such losers. But anyway, they decide the way they're going to do dishes is to throw the dishes in the air and shoot them with rifles. So they're doing this, and when they
What?
when when they when they kill the final dish, the guy goes, "The dishes are done, man." And just every once in a while, will be like, "The dishes are done, man." And that's don't tell mom the babysitter's dead.
That is awesome. Okay, I've got to put this on my watch list.
It's
You
so
really sold
good.
it. You really sold it. Okay, is it
What do
my
you
turn?
have? It is your turn.
Okay, so my movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is a film that I've watched hundreds of times, literally. It is Matilda.
Oh,
I
I know Matilda.
I love that movie so much, and the kind of othering of how she was, you know, I grew up in a household where my imagination was able to be, was really advocated for and facilitated. Like if I wanted to have hey, go to art museum, go to museum, go and soccer, if it's sports expressions, like really appreciate mom for like really encouraging that. And so when I saw Matilda and like, oh my gosh, here is this brilliant girl, she's full of wonder, and like the only one who sees her is her teacher. It was just like I just love that movie. And like it's a comfort movie for me. It makes me feel nostalgic. It makes me feel seen. And I'm just like, how adorable is it that she literally could do magic? And the when she did the Miss Trench Bowl, period. Period. That is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. hmm And every time I eat chocolate cake, I laugh because of the scene with the little boy and the chocolate cake. Yeah. I'm like, eat my cake now. I'm gonna put you on the choky.
See, I don't remember that.
It's like literally these pop moments in pop culture that make like you'll hear people be like, okay, and keep all that talk, I'm gonna give you some chocolate cake. Like you'll just see people just like referencing it in that way because there was a few years ago where that little boy went viral. It was like raise your hand if you eat all this cake for I forgot what it was, $1 million or whatever. They're like, oh shit, I'll have 100. It's like everyone references that scene until because the little boy literally eats a whole huge chocolate cake. But yeah, it's just one of those films that I love and that I watch anytime it's on TV. It will never get old. It will never get old. My favorite scene in the movie is when Matilda puts super glue on her dad's wig, on his toupee, and she puts it on the toupee and then she puts it on his hat and his hat gets stuck to his toupee and it was just the funniest thing ever. And oh my goodness. I was like, just talking about the movie makes me happy. So yeah, it's one of my
I can
favorites.
see that. And her dad is played by what, Danny DeVito?
Danny DeVito, yep. And
Okay.
he narrates the entire movie and it's his directorial debut.
Right.
Yeah, he did a great job with that movie.
I
And
think I've only
his
seen it
former
once.
wife, what's her name?
Rhea
From she
Perlman.
yeah, Rhea Perlman from the Icon she is. Yeah, she was in it playing his wife.
Yes, from Cheers.
Yes. Where everybody knows your name.
And I know you don't know the rest of the words.
Sure don't. I remember, this is what I remember, and also very random tidbit. There used to be in Texas this series of TV that would come on after a certain time, like after like 10 p.m. It would be Just Shoot Me, Dharma and Greg, and Cheers. And I would watch it and sneak and watch it every night. Could wasn't allowed to watch TV during the weekday, but I would always sneak and watch those shows. They were so good. I was like, I should not be watching any of this, but they were so good. Especially Just Shoot Me. That was, oh, they did what needed to be done.
I guess. All right.
Okay. Anyway,
Let's see what I have up next. Up next, I have Just One of the Guys, circa mid 80s.
I wasn't alive.
And
Oh, I thought it was supposed to say if I knew it.
have you heard of it? Have you seen it?
I
There's
thought
a
that was a
thing
part
called
of the
like,
game. I thought it was part of the game. Isn't that part of the game?
what do you mean?
You said the part of the game is to guess what it's about.
It's one to tell me if you've seen it or heard of it, and then if not, then you tell me what it's about.
Oh, that's what I was doing.
Okay, sorry.
Oh my gosh. I'm following the
I
rules.
know,
Thank
I
you.
know, I
Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, I have never heard of it, and I have no idea what that movie is about.
know. So it's one of those movies where it came on TV, um, like a few years after it was released, and I think it was like summertime, and our sister Moesha and I watched it. I haven't talked to her about this. I actually want to ask her if she remembers this movie. But anyway, it's one of those movies where a wo- a person dresses up as the opposite gender and opposite at the time when we only had two genders that we knew of because she is a high school student and she applies to be like I don't know on the like newspaper staff or something or she applies for like some like writing competition and the teacher who's responsible for picking the winners is very sexist and he's like you're not good at this you're a loser you're not going to succeed and so she feels like well I'm going to go to another high school and pretend to be a boy and then I'm going to submit for the same competition and see what if I can win and again hijinks ensue she of course like falls in love with a guy. And of course, the guy doesn't know that she's a girl. And it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? It's actually not a great movie, but it's one of those movies that you watch when you're
The hell?
younger. You know how when you're younger, you watch some movies and you're like, I'm entertained. That's all I
Yeah.
care about, even though it's
Yeah.
like actually not that great.
And also problematic. I was reminded of that movie Indian in the Cupboard. Do you remember that movie? I was like, this is
I
movie
remember
didn't.
the concept of it.
Yeah, I was like, this movie did
It's
not age well.
terrible.
Very, very
Yeah.
terrible. I was like, yikes, someone really greenlit this. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
All
But
right, what you got?
okay, so to wrap it up, I have one more. This one is another one that is near and dear to me. It is from one of my favorite comedians. It is Miss Doubtfire.
Of course, I've seen Miss Doubtfire. Who hasn't seen Miss Sapphire? That movie is perfect. Again, a movie about someone dressing up as the opposite gender.
Uh-huh, another
How
one. Another.
ironic.
I know. So I'm just like, that movie, oh, I love it so much. That's just a favorite. Robin Williams is a comedic. I love physical comedy so much. It's one of my favorite types of comedy. He was brilliant at it. It was genius. The scene with the cake. Are you kidding me? It was just so, he improv that whole scene. I just love seeing a master in his zone the way this dynamic with the children are, you literally thought he was the woman. I felt like it was just like I felt like I don't know, in the scene where he goes and sees his kids goodbye. And it just it's a heartwarming, hilarious, just great film. And I love another comfort film that I love to reference and go to because it just makes me so happy. Like it's just so fun to see wherever. Okay, our icon. But what's her name? Why is her name? Why am I drawing a blank? I'm so sorry. The icon, the
Sally
legend.
Field,
Sally Fields, yes, our icon. The scene where her in Brosnan, right? What's his Pierce
Pierce
Brosnan?
Brosnan, yeah.
Yes, whenever they're at that fancy dinner and she's doing the Heimlich maneuver and she goes, she realizes that it's him. She was so dramatic and I loved it. It was so over the top. And she goes, how dare you? It's just so perfect all around. Perfect execution from everyone involved, and I love that movie.
And I love how much Robin Williams' character hates Pierce Brosnan's
Oh,
character through the whole
hates him.
movie.
Hates him. Hates him. Oh, it's just so good. So I just love that movie.
You gotta stump me next time. Like I'm gonna need you to really dig into the recesses of pop culture and see if you can pick something that I haven't seen.
Okay, something you haven't seen.
Not now.
I'm not gonna do it now, but I thought I was being biased because I was picking ones that I don't know, but I feel like you would know all of the ones that I've seen. So I will do a bigger job of looking
And a digger job.
in a digger job into into more, neat niche um films. So you got it. Next up, we are going to talk about what's on our screens and what we're listening to. What are you watching?
Last week, I watched a movie on Netflix called A Family Affair.
Mm.
It's that movie with Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman, where Zac Efron is an actor and he's the boss of Joey King, and Joey King is Nicole Kidman's daughter, and
Oh,
Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron fall in love.
ooh.
And Joey King is not happy about it. And I'm gonna say it again, hijinks ensue. Because apparently I like saying hijinks ensue.
I see. Like, get it on a shirt, get some merch at this point.
Merch, you say? Happy to
Yeah,
do
that
it.
that should be our podcast merch.
Hijinks
Hijinks and
ensue.
Sid.
It's it's like good to have on it like in the background if you need something that you don't have to pay like complete attention to. It's cute, it's light, it's nice to have a rom-com. I enjoyed it. You
Okay,
think you would watch it?
I'll watch it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I gotta say, um, Zac Efron be looking like a Madame Tussauds wax character these days, and I just
No, don't
don't.
say it. Don't
I'm
say
s-
it.
I am so sorry, but it kind of takes me aback,
But
and
no,
it's
but you know why though, right?
why something
I
happened.
heard, yeah, I heard he had some kind of accident and he had to have like reconstructive surgery, like especially around his jaw and like mouth area.
Wow, I feel like an asshole. I'm so sorry, Zac Efron.
I mean, that's like what he says. And
I'm sorry. It's just very it's very noticeable. And
I
I'm
know.
sorry that he endured that. I'm sorry. Zachary. But yes, I will support the movie. And all that it entails. I will check it out.
The other thing I watched is something you recommended. I watched Your Honor with Bryan
Ooh.
Cranston, which the first 4 or 5 episodes of season 1, I was texting you because I was like, I'm getting so angry. I'm gonna have to take a break. It's just like the privilege of it all. Like, it was so good. And then it kind of like it's still good the first season, but it kind of like is not as like intense. And then season 2 really didn't need to happen. I mean, it was
Agreed.
fine, but like,
It was a waste of time. And people are
yeah.
like, season three. I'm like, there, no, it needs to end in
No,
season one.
it was
There's
supposed to
no
be
need.
a one season,
Yeah, it should
like,
have been a mini series, one and season and done. It could have ended after season one. There didn't need to be anything after that.
and it was apparently supposed to be, but it was so successful that they decided to do a season 2. But Bryan Cranston said there's not going to be any more.
Good.
So what's on your screen?
Oh man. So I have been watching a few things. I just finished Supercell on Netflix. It is the show with the British Black British actors. It is so cool. It's about these different people around the UK who have superpowers. They're part of like the cell of, kind of just like superheroes, if you will.
Yeah.
And it is so good. I love the acting. Usually I have a hard time understanding when they're like over here, like, oh, the crewwoman, you got the gun. I don't know what accent that was I just did, but I do know that you didn't
Either.
understand me. That you didn't understand me, and that's what I be hearing when I'm listening. So I really appreciate how I was able to follow everything they were, talking about. And so it was just a really strong series. So I just watched that. And also for my reality TV, The Perfect Match. That is my guilty pleasure. Love it. Nick Lachey is going to host a reality show if it's the last thing he does, and I'm here for it. So
Is Vanessa hosting with him?
She's not. I think she was filming her little Hawaii, what, NCIS show.
Well, that got canceled, so I mean, maybe
Oh,
she
did
was
it? Well,
filming it.
well,
Yeah, it did. It. I
damn.
mean, maybe she was filming it at the time, but that got canceled. And anyway,
Why?
I do
Yikes.
not enjoy her hosting.
Oh yeah, she just says she has no filter. I'm like, Miss Mamas, please.
Yeah, she irritated me on Love Is Blind, so I don't need her.
Same, same. But other than that, I mean, I'm listening to a few things. I told you I'm an R&B girly, hip hop girly. I have recently you got me listening to Sabrina Carpenter girl, that espresso. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
I was like, a little boppity bop, a little summer bop. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is cute. But for some reason, I also got back in my Sam Smith bag. Remember Latch?
How can I
Latching
forget?
on to
That song goes
you.
hard.
It's so good. When it drops in the car when you're driving, oh my
Yes.
goodness. Oh, it is so good. That is a bop. And so I revisited that song recently. I love a good revisit. So yeah. What about you? What are you listening to?
Yeah, speaking of revisit, nothing new this past week and a half or so, but I really enjoy listening to the last Harry Styles album.
Mm.
I was never into One Direction, as you know, but when he came out with this last album, I was like,
I told you
oh,
Harry's House was good.
I know you. I mean, you got me into it with the album before this one, but I love Golden. Like the minute that song comes on, I just like feel like this golden glow of like joy come over me. I love it. But the whole album is great.
It's
So
really good. It's so good. Yeah. And people were in a tizzy, I mean, when it won against Renaissance, and both were very worthy competitors, but I couldn't even put up a fuss because Harry's House is so good. So I love that you experienced that. I ain't gonna say it's better than Renaissance, but yes, that's another conversation.
but yeah, that's it for me this week.
Oh, I love that.
Well, I guess that's it for today's episode. Number two in the bag, in the bag.
Pew, pew,
Uh
pew.
pew pew pew.
And I don't know if you guys can hear, but my audio is better this week because the girl upgraded her microphone. Baby, let me tell you. Wait till we get
Pew pew pew.
sponsors. Wait. Okay, baby, it's about to be on and popping. They ain't gonna know what to do with us.
And on that note, we will be back in 2 weeks on Thursday. Follow us on Instagram in the meantime at crossgensisters. That is Gen as in GEN, like generation. You can also email us at crossgensisters@gmail.com. And you can follow us, rate, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we are also on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Tell your brothers, tell your sisters, your friends, your other loved ones about us. And thanks for listening. Bye. Love you, sis.
Love you, sis.